But all right, guys, let's get into it. Don't forget to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel.
The end does not seem to be imminent at all. So that made what the leader of America's partner in this war, he seems to think he's an equal partner. Not sure he's aware. He's got 10 million people in his country. We've got 330 million in ours. Our interests are a lot greater and frankly more important. Sorry, but they are. And we're running this thing. It's our military. It's our boots on the ground, not yours, that has been doing the lion's share of all this. So yeah, we're not equal partners. But in any event, Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, went on 60 Minutes last night. And this whole thing made that appearance all the more interesting. 60 aired a good chunk of correspondent Major Garrett's interview with the prime minister on TV last night. The segment was about 12 minutes. But CBS also released the full 70-minute sit-down online. That's not out of the goodness of their hearts. That's thanks to President Trump's lawsuit back in 2024 when he alleged 60 Minutes made misleading edits to a Kamala Harris interview in an effort to make her look good. And when we saw the outtakes, we found out that, of course, is absolutely true. And we saw the tease that they posted. Remember, they had posted different versions of the same answer. One was, she was asked a question. It was actually about, wasn't it about Netanyahu? And they posted one piece of the answer on one show and another piece of the answer on another show. And it became very clear to those of us out in the world that they'd been manipulating us, which they had been. So now 60 Minutes posts many of its full interviews with newsmakers, and they are sometimes quite illuminating. Like in March, when we showed you a misleading edit of Pete Hegseth's interview with Major Garrett, when the show suggested that Secretary Hegseth was responding to a question about Israel dragging the U.S. into the war. And the extended interview showed the question didn't mention Israel at all. There's manipulation going on over at CBS, especially around the topic of Israel. I wonder why.
Facts.
Now, this time, there was no smoking gun showing journalistic malpractice in last night's Netanyahu interview, but there
I blame Barry Weiss. I blame Barry Weiss. I blame her.
Were some notable ways in which the edited piece differed from the actual full interview in substantive ways. The interview began with BIBI saying the war is not over. And here's an extended version that's slightly longer than what you might have seen if you watched 60 Minutes last night.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enriched
uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. And here's the thing, if we can't do that by diplomatic means, we're going to have to put boots on the ground for that. I mean, F it, we're going to have to actually cause complete regime change before we can even take out their nuclear material.
sites that have to be dismantled.
Go down with regimes.
There's still proxies that Iran supports. There are ballistic missiles that they still want to produce. Now, we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done.
How do you envision the highly enriched uranium will be removed from Iran?
You go in and you take it out.
With what? Special forces from Israel, special forces from the United States?
Well, I'm not going to talk about military means, but what President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
What if there isn't an agreement? Can it be taken out by force?
Well, you're going to ask me these questions. I'm going to dodge them because I'm not going to talk about our military possibilities, plans.
I mean, bro, you just said that Donald Trump was willing to go inside of Iran. Like, we don't even know that. Actually, we're hoping that he's not willing to do that because it'd be a complete disaster.
Or anything of the kind.
And I'm just trying to get at how long is it going to take to achieve that aim?
I'm not going to give a timetable to it, but I'm going to say that's a terrifically important mission.
Oh, God.
I mean, okay. Our president doesn't seem to have the appetite for this. They're reporting today, over the weekend, they reported in the Atlantic, he's bored. He's bored with this war. That's the second report using that exact term that we've seen about the president. He's really not that into it anymore, but you can see this guy feels differently. He's not going to talk about timing. Lots of important missions yet to be done in Iran. And here's his answer on the infamous meeting inside the White House Situation Room from February, which the New York Times first broke the news of, where he reportedly persuaded President Trump to start this war. Again, this clip we're going to show you here is a bit longer than what aired in the 60 Minutes broadcast last night.
New York Times on April 7th reported the following about a fateful meeting, February 11th, in the White House. And the New York Times reports as follows, quote, in the Situation Room on February 11th, Mr. Netanyahu made a hard sell, suggesting that Iran was ripe for regime change and expressing the belief that a joint U.S.-Israeli mission could finally bring an end to the Islamic Republic. Is that correct?
No, that's actually incorrect because...
In what ways is it incorrect?
It's incorrect in the sense that I said, oh, well, it's guaranteed, we can do it, and so on. I didn't say that. We both understood that we have little time to act because otherwise they'd get nuclear weapons. We both understood that we have little time to act because otherwise they'll bury underground their...
You know what, Hacks? All right, what proof do you have that they have nuclear weapons? And don't tell me, oh, they yelled death to America. What do you think that means? I'll tell you that. It doesn't mean, oh, we're building a nuclear weapon. So what proof do you have that they're building nuclear weapons? Because all 18 departments of our intelligence agency gave an intelligence assessment saying that they wasn't going towards a nuke. So please show us what you got differently and I'll shut the fuck up. But until then, you're just trying to push us into a war.
Ballistic missile capabilities. But while we said that part of the action would be the removal of the leadership and other measures, there was uncertainty. And we said it, all of this, is uncertain. If you ever, engage in military...
in the confines of that conversation, you noted the uncertainty.
Not only did I note it, we both agreed, that there was both uncertainty and risk involved.
Okay. Got it. Now he wants to underscore that he was really clear with President Trump on the risk and uncertainty around his plan. His assurances that we could take out the Ayatollah and effect regime change. Easy. 3-4 days. Tops. Now he wants you all to know he was really clear on the risk and uncertainty that he advised the president of. Okay. So it's Trump's fault. That's really what he's saying. He advised of the risk and Trump overruled him. Is that true? Or is he possibly overstating the amount of caution that he laced his remarks in? And here's an important answer here. Netanyahu on why America and Israel did not anticipate Iran doing the one thing that has changed this entire conflict and indeed has changed Iran's standing in the war, in the world. Iran, it's now calling itself a global superpower, and it's not the only one. I've seen very smart military analysts say, unfortunately.
Yeah, low key. People are all military analysts are saying that Iran could emerge a fourth superpower out of this conflict because of their control over the strait. Like, I was like, son of a bitch. And bro, yeah, the way to become a superpower is having military might and having economic leverage. The petrodollar is one of the reasons why we're considered a superpower. Now, if Iran has control over the Strait of Hormuz that can damage the petrodollar, well, guess what that makes them now? Yep, a superpower.
Fortunately, that's become true, and that's the Strait of Hormuz. Why didn't we anticipate? Israel didn't anticipate it, and the United States apparently didn't take it seriously. The reports are that Trump didn't believe they could do it, and that Netanyahu had told him it wasn't realistic. But they've done it. They've done it, and it's the thing that is holding everything up. It's holding up the closure of this war, the progress of talks around this war. We've given them a new tool, even more powerful than a nuke. That's what this war has done to Iran. And if you don't think that's empowering, you haven't been paying attention. And unfortunately, it's incredibly empowering for Iran. Right now, they hold a lot of cards, and they're going to hold them forever unless we have a permanent military presence in the Strait of Hormuz, which we police from now to the end of time. I don't think we're prepared to do that. You know how much money that's going to be?
Yeah.
When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1970.
Now, that is going to be a crazy amount of money. Like, it is a completely asinine to think about. It's like, bro, we're already spending $2 billion a day. Now you want us to spend what, $1 billion or maybe $800 million a day just monitoring the Strait of Hormuz? Like, who's doing that? Who wants to do that? And that's not really helping anybody. because then we're still going to be a conflict with Iran. So honestly, it's just going to be closed unless we can militarily push Iran out of the strait. And let's be real, we're not willing to dedicate. We're not actually trying to dedicate ourselves to that. So I'm gonna be real with you. If the whole idea was to control the strait, we'd have been did it by now. Or if we could, we would.
989898 today. Okay, so why? Why didn't we or they apparently anticipate that they could and would take control of the strait? Here's the answer. Most of this, again, did not air on TV. Watch.
No, I don't claim perfect foresight, and nobody had perfect foresight. Neither did the Iranians. They should have figured out that that's what's coming.
Did you say that most of these risks would be minimal?
I don't remember using that language, and I don't.
Would that be a fair interpretation?
No, I would say that the overall conception was that this would elicit a problem, a response that they probably would not shoulder, but they did shoulder, and now they're attacking. They're being attacked accordingly.
Yeah. Yes, it's a problem. Yeah, we're aware. So they're at least some telegraph of the truth. They didn't anticipate it. They didn't think that they could shoulder it. Well, they could. And honestly, did he really not know? Did Netanyahu and Israel not anticipate that? I have a very hard time believing that. I mean,
actually, the crazy thing is, Iran telegraphed it. They literally said, "Yo, we're gonna strike your allies in the region, your bases in the region, and we're gonna close the strait." They told us they were gonna do that, and BIBI and Trump said, "Nah, they can't do it." And then when they do it, basically first day of the freaking war, now everybody's sitting around here surprised, going like, "What do we do? What do we do?"
Their intelligence is second to none. They knew the Ayatollah was going to be above ground on a certain day with his top emissaries. Their intelligence was really good on the Ayatollah's whereabouts and his plans, and was spot on. But they didn't anticipate that they could effectively take control of the Strait of Hormuz. Or did they just not care? Because their goal is chaos in the Middle East, which benefits them. And our goal is very, very different. Our goal is not chaos in the Middle East. We have a lot of friends and partners and allies there with whom we do great business and whose relations with us have only been getting stronger. And that's a good thing for the United States. Is it really great for us to have chaos in the Middle East? Is it great for us to have, by the way, Iran bombing our allies over there, which is what they've been doing? That's another thing that was just very, very interesting piece in The Atlantic by a big-time neocon hawk, a guy who was behind the Iraq war, the surge in Iraq, and push for, all sorts of conflicts, writing some tough talk about how the war in Iran is going, saying, basically, we've lost. And it's worse than our loss in Vietnam. It's worse than anything, than Afghanistan. It's worse than Iraq. It's very, very bad. Yeah. Because we've empowered Iran in a way that we didn't anticipate. And Robert Kagan is the name of the guy. And talking about how Iran has now become empowered as a result of its control of the Strait of Hormuz. And one of the ways in which we've been compromised is in fighting back. Not only did it take the strait, it started bombing all of its allies in the neighborhood, our allies in the neighborhood. And that the reason Trump entered into a ceasefire was not a desire for a ceasefire so much as it was the fact that Iran had bombed the energy infrastructure in Qatar.
Yeah.
And that if anything like that continued, we were going to be setting the energy markets back by years, decades, and it needed to stop ASAP.
Yeah, what Iran did was it exposed the fragileness of our energy infrastructure, or really this global economy. It just exposed the fragileness of it. And why? Because one, the strait got closed, and that just started skyrocketing prices. Who'd have knew just a simple close down the strait would cause such disturbance in the global market? Oh, everybody except for the Trump administration, sadly. And then, of course, you got the whole, let's be real, they're holding these Gulf countries hostage. They can just start bombing energy infrastructures and set us back years. Bro, we won't be getting no type of real energy out of that strait for years because of the repairs they'd have to do. And all of that investment that these Gulf countries put into America is going to be retracted because they're going to need to rebuild their main moneymaker, which is their energy infrastructure.
Actually pulled another trick out of their hat that materially changed the course of the war. It wasn't just we're going to be nice. All right. So there's been a lot happening. This has been a very savvy, tough effort that we're fighting over there. It's not a compliment. It's just a reality. And something the skeptics about the war had advised President Trump about. Okay, so now here's Netanyahu claiming he was one of them. Okay, sure you were, sure. And here's another thing that did not air at all on last night's broadcast. And that's Netanyahu discussing how long this war might last.
We had our brave pilots and your brave pilots over the skies of Tehran, over the skies of Iran. That changed. That broke that mask of invincibility. And once that happens, that regime, I think their days are numbered. But it could take a lot of days, I grant you that. And if you say, how long would it take, this war? I think a lot has been accomplished in a very short time. It's not going to take years.
What's been accomplished? Like main goals, because like no main goals has been accomplished. Control the Strait. I mean, IRGC still in power, or so yeah, basically the regime's still in power. Still got thousands of missiles and drones. We have no way to protect our allies in the region. They're kind of at Iran's mercy. So what did we achieve? Because I'm a bit confused here. Because I know we didn't achieve a damn thing.
It take months.
It better not take months.
It may not take months. Okay, it depends. It depends a lot. I don't want to put a schedule on it. I think there's a mission schedule. There are goals to be achieved. But so far, I think an enormous amount has been done in a very short time.
So are we going to be perpetually months away from ending the war? Remember, President Trump said it was going to be 4 weeks. Now we get from Netanyahu months, and won't get more specific. Are we going to be perpetually months away from ending this thing, just like Iran was perpetually weeks away from obtaining a nuclear weapon in the years before Operation Epic Fury? That's what we've dubbed this war. I mean, truly, Netanyahu's been saying that they're weeks away for years now, weeks and months at most.
Oh, man.
Guys,
make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen or smashing the like button, depending on how you're watching it, especially watching the horizontal stream. Oh, you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements? Feel free to send in the super chat, $2 and up, or you can send a Venmo. All right, guys, let's keep it going.
Sounding like the Iraq war clips that we brought to you when this war began in March. Dick Cheney, Don Rumsfeld, saying it was just going to be weeks or months at the outset. 8 years later, that war finally ended. Not to mention ground troops, more ground troops, the surge. That was Iraq. Thanks for watching this clip. If you're new.
But all right, now let's get into our guy, Valhalla.
Because we're beyond the 60. Although I'm not really sure how the military campaign resumes because we're beyond the 60-day deadline that he has to get congressional approval. Other than what they're saying here, it looks like what they're going to do, guys, is they're going to call an end to Operation Epic Fury, and they're going to start a new operation, rename it something else, and that technically starts a new special military operation. So he'll have another 60 days. What a way to bypass things, huh? You just rename the conflict every 60 days. Smart one.
Now, what Hegseth was trying to do over there, and when he was testifying in front of Congress, was hilarious. He's like, "Well, we still got like 2 more weeks because we paused. Yeah, we're at a ceasefire. That's a pause." I'm like, yeah, but you put up a naval blockade, which isn't a military action. So I don't know about that. I don't know if you have a really good argument there."
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and we're kicking off the week in a pretty wild way in the global foreign conflict area. If you haven't seen some of these, we've got Putin of Russia coming out talking about how the war with Ukraine is essentially over. We'll see how that one actually pans out. And then you've got old Uncle BIBI going on to 60 Minutes, letting everyone know that he will be the one who decides when this conflict with Iran ends, and is now calling officially for the United States to put boots on the ground. So that should be great. That's definitely going to de-escalate this conflict. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that today, see what's actually going on. And yeah, it's not looking great. Shocker. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. Let's jump into it. First thing we're going to do is watch this. I am almost in shock at this 60-minute interview of the actual audacity of BIBI to say some of the things that he's saying. But again, none of it's really shocking. So let's kick it off and take a look at this interview first, and we'll talk about it. Now, before we start, I got to tell you guys, he is not looking physically great in this interview. And I know he's been dealing with some health issues, but yeah, he's looking almost as bad as Trump. All right, let us know what's going on, because we all know who's really in charge.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enrichment sites that have to be dismantled. There's still proxies that Iran supports. There are ballistic missiles that they still want to produce. Now, we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done.
All right, there's more to this. It gets even worse than that. But let's just talk about what he's saying there. Of course, he says right out the gate that, no, this conflict is absolutely not over, and we all know he's the one that...
Yeah, of course the conflict's not over in his eyes, because, remember, bro, it's BIBI who really wants their missiles to be degraded. It's BIBI who really wants them to stop funding the proxies. It's BIBI, because the missiles, not an imminent threat to us. Those proxies, not an imminent threat to us. And not even their nuclear arsenal. And they have no nuclear arsenal, but not even their nuclear enrichment is any threat to us. Shoot, it's not even really a threat to Israel, but they fearmonger on it. But the main thing is that, Israel wants to have a regime change. They want to destabilize Iran. And if they can do that, then they have dominance over the Middle East. So trust me, they're not going to call it quits until they get everything they want, or until they just get this, or they just start, losing a little bit too much, or if the war just becomes too expensive, or there's just too much damage going on in Israel, they may concede, or they may just use a nuke. You never know.
Apparently pulls the strings and holds the cards on this, because every time we try to come to a peace negotiation, we go ahead and break that ceasefire. But what he says there, it's not over because, well, there's still uranium, there's still enriched uranium, there's still uranium enrichment, there's still enrichment sites, there's still proxies, there's still ballistic missile capabilities. So is that what the strategic intent here is for America? Because I thought for us, well, actually, I don't know what it is for us, because we've never been told, but maybe this is it. I didn't realize this was a complete dismantling of Iran that had to happen before this conflict was over. So this is very, very enlightening for the American people.
Yeah, I know, right? So I've been told everybody that, bro, our goals and Israel goals are two completely separate goals. It's like we just want to take care of their nuclear enrichment. These guys want their nuclear enrichment, bro. They want their missiles gone. They want their proxies defunded. And we're just sitting there just looking at them like, bro.
That shit is hard. Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Like, bro, you really think we're going to get that out of them? Like, all of that? Like, all right, we can get the enriched uranium for sure, but the missiles, come on now. You're basically saying these guys can't defend themselves. And their proxies, well, I mean, they kind of truly believe in their cause. It's not like they're just doing it for the fun of it, but it is what it is.
Find out, because if that's the case, we have a long, like 20 years way to go to accomplish all that. All right, so great to find out that, again, this conflict is not over and is not about to be over. Thanks for informing the American people on this one, Mr. BIBI. Let's see what else you got.
How do you envision the highly enriched uranium will be removed from Iran?
You go in and you take it out.
With what? Special forces from Israel, special forces from the United States?
Easier said than done. You just go in there and you take it out. Oh, man, bro. If it was that easy, man, we wouldn't even be talking about it, bro. That was funny.
Talk about military means, but what President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
What if there isn't an agreement? Can it be taken out by force?
Well, you're going to ask me these questions. I'm going to dodge them. because I'm not going to talk about our military possibilities.
Yes, all the things you want to hear about a conflict that we're trying to de-escalate. You love to hear that BIBI said himself there. Trump told me he wants to go in and take it. Now, I can tell you guys this, actually going in and raiding an underground bunker facility in a hostile country that has the ability to drone strike you and drop ballistic missiles on you is not realistic. The time it takes to complete a mission like that, all the heavy equipment you have to bring in, you're pulling out massively radioactive material, all of the hazmat gear you have to have. Then you just fly in there and just go about your business and Iran's not going to do anything about it? So the idea is silly to begin with. But again, the fact that BIBI is letting us know that we need to put boots on the ground. And I love how he dodges the question when specifically asked, would it be American Special Forces boots or Israel Special Forces boots?
But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on from this topic right here. I believe we covered it long enough. And guys, make sure you double tap that screen, like the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel while you're at it by hitting that icon above and turn that bell on as well. Now we're going to get into Robert Papes and PBD's sit down. Excuse me. It was an interesting sit down. I think I'll go ahead and start from the first video from last night, and then we'll go ahead and work our way through the 4 that I got pulled up. Well, yeah, 4 that I got pulled up. So let's go and start on this one. And let's see here. Iran's not going to cave.